Picture this: a boardroom, 12 executives. Someone just made a catastrophic mistake, and everyone in that room knows it. One man stands up. He opens his mouth, prepared to unleash a storm of justifications, explanations, blame. And the man at the head of the table does nothing. No response, no flinch, no expression. Just stillness. Within 30 seconds, the man standing is confessing things he never intended to say, contradicting himself, shrinking. He wasn't defeated by an argument. He was defeated by the absence of one. That is the architecture of silence as a weapon. And today, we're going to reverse engineer it, mechanism by mechanism. The human brain is, at its core, a pattern completion machine. Present it with an incomplete sentence and it will finish it. Present it with an unanswered question and it will answer it. Present it with silence and it will shatter it. This is not a personality flaw. It is a neurological imperative. In social environments, silence reads to the primitive brain as threat, an ambiguous signal. Is this person angry? Disappointed? Dangerous? The uncertainty is physiologically intolerable, so the brain does the only thing it knows how to do. It talks. And the moment someone starts talking to fill your silence, they stop being strategic. They start being honest. Psychologists call this involuntary disclosure, the leaking of information that was never meant to surface. Watch it happen in any negotiation, in any interrogation, in any difficult conversation. The person who breaks the silence first has, almost always, revealed something they did not intend to. Most people treat silence as a void. The strategist treats it as a trapdoor. Silence is not monolithic. It has architecture. It has levels. Level 1. Observation silence. This is the most underestimated form of intelligence gathering in existence. Most people, when they enter a room, immediately perform. They introduce themselves. They assert their presence. They make noise. In doing so, they reveal everything about themselves while learning nothing about anyone else. The observer does the opposite. He speaks less than he absorbs. He watches micro-expressions. He notes who defers to whom, who interrupts, who laughs too loudly and too quickly. He is running a full diagnostic on the social architecture of the room, and no one notices because he appears simply to be listening. By the time he speaks, he is not entering the conversation blind. He is the only person in the room with a complete map. Level 2. Pressure silence. This level is surgical. It is deployed after someone speaks, specifically after someone says something evasive, dishonest, or incomplete. Instead of responding, you hold eye contact and say absolutely nothing. What happens neurologically is immediate and involuntary. The other person reevaluates what they just said. The silence signals, without aggression, without accusation, that answer was insufficient. And because humans are social animals hardwired to resolve disapproval, the subject almost reflexively fills the silence with more information. Often, the true information. Seasoned interrogators know this. Elite negotiators know this. The silence isn't emptiness. It is sustained pressure with no surface to push back against. You cannot argue with a pause. You cannot deflect a stare. Level 3. Aura silence. This is the most sophisticated application, and it is not tactical. It is existential. It is the deliberate cultivation of a persona that speaks rarely and only with weight. The psychological phenomenon at work here is called the halo effect. The cognitive bias where a single strong positive trait distorts our perception of everything else about a person. When someone consistently speaks with precision, economy, and depth. When they are never caught rambling, never seen scrambling for words, the brain assigns them wisdom categorically. We assume they know more than they've said. We assume the silence contains something we haven't earned yet. This is the silence of the elder, the strategist, the person who has simply seen more than the room and no longer feels the need to prove it. It isn't performed quietness. It is cultivated restraint, and the difference between the two is everything. Here is a pattern you've seen 100 times without naming it. The loudest person in the room is almost never the most competent one. This is not coincidence. It is the Dunning-Kruger Effect, a well-documented cognitive phenomenon where individuals with limited knowledge in a domain dramatically overestimate their competence. Because they don't know enough to know what they don't know, they experience no hesitation, no doubt, No internal friction. And internal friction is precisely what keeps the genuinely knowledgeable person quiet. The expert understands the complexity. She knows the caveats. She knows how many variables exist that the loud man hasn't considered. And that awareness produces what the incompetent will never feel: measured restraint. The noise, then, is almost always a signal, not of authority, but of the absence of it. Real power does not announce itself. Real power waits to be discovered. Every room you walk into will contain people performing confidence, performing authority, performing certainty, and most of them will do it with noise. Your advantage is this: noise is readable, noise is predictable, noise leaks. Mastery, real mastery, is the capacity to observe everything, reveal nothing, and when you finally do speak, to mean every single word. Silence isn't passive. Silence is the highest form of control. Know it. Practice it. Master it. I'll see you in the next one.